Mr. President, today it's an excellent day for students across the country who are taking out student college loans. For the upcoming school year, the Treasury auctions just took place on 10-year notes. Some folks might ask, what's the connection with student loans and Treasury notes? Well, 3 years ago, Senator Alexander, myself, Senator Manchin, Senator King, and others said something very simple. We're going to get politicians out of the business of setting student loan rates, and we're going to let the marketplace do it. So that was a wise decision, as the law we passed, the Bipartisan Student Loan Certainty Act, has saved since 2013 $36 billion to students taking out loans and their parents. And we'll save another $10 billion again this year. That means that 200,000 North Carolinians, students and their parents, are saving even more on student loans. Those 200,000 North Carolinians take out about $500 million in student loans to attend universities and colleges because of this law, they've been saving, and this year, because of today's Treasury auction, they're going to save even more. About $1.1 billion across my state alone because of the reduction in the Treasury note from a little over 4% on the 10-year to, I think, 3.7 or 3.76 today. Congressional Research Service tells us that about $4,500 less will be paid out for a four-year degree. So, I hold this up because I think this is indicative of where we are this year. The lowest student loan rates since the year 2004. Now, I know that this is a debate not only within the body of the Senate and the House, but also on the campaign trail for our presidential candidates. You see, prior to 2013, interest rates had been written into law by politicians and were essentially set at 6.8%. I'm not sure that the president was here then, but many of us looked at it and said, this is insane. For the protection of America's taxpayers, it ought to be tied to some financial instrument. So we tied it to the 10-year bond. And since that point, taxpayers, specifically students and their parents, have saved $36 billion because we decoupled it from the political process here. In fact, those interest rates have dropped significantly just since last year, 4.29% to 3.76% today. That means about $40 more per month in the average graduate's pocket, and it means $4,500 more overall in saved cost. Now, what would have happened if we hadn't come together to pass this law? Students would have shelled out another $46 billion in student loan interest payments. This is one thing that Congress can hold up and highlight the fact that we did something responsible. For those that claim we haven't done anything about the high cost of student loans, let me suggest to you, we've done a lot. We've saved parents and students $46 billion. We probably could save them more than that if, in fact, we didn't divert some of the proceeds that the government gets off of student loans to the Affordable Care Act, about $2 billion a year. Listen, we ran into significant pushback from several members of this body. In fact, 18 members of this body, mostly from the other party, opposed this law. The junior senator from Vermont called it a disaster for young people in our country looking to go to college. This law was also vocally opposed by the senior senator from Massachusetts, but today demonstrates the short-sightedness that was displayed then. Today, because of what we did in a bipartisan fashion passed by this body, parents and students have saved $46 billion, and in North Carolina this next year, it's projected they will save another $1.1 billion in interest payments on their student loans. This is a day the Congress can be proud of because we've done something good for the American people. With that, I yield the floor.